So today is not only Star Wars Day, but it's Audrey Hepburn's 90th birthday. And in my first video, I talked about how much I love Audrey Hepburn. So I've been so busy, I forgot to prepare for that. I'm definitely doing something for that. So, speaking of two things, so I've been busy, as I just mentioned, and I just found out earlier today about John Singleton and Chewbacca dying within less than a day of each other this past week. So, real quick about John Singleton, really talented director, legend, and he really, how can I put this? He lived the kind of movies he made. He wasn't, you know what I mean? Like he had to. And he was my number one pick for, hold on, where is it? Here we go. My number one pick for a director to make a Tupac movie. Okay? Because he actually knew Tupac. They worked together on Poetic Justice. And, John Singleton made Boys in the Hood, a bunch of other good movies. And he died of a stroke. That's the second person this year died of a stroke, man. I feel like I need to say something. Alright, so back to Star Wars. And then Chewbacca died earlier this week, which, that's crazy. He died earlier this week, the week of Star Wars Day. And I heard that he had just retired the role, too, after Episode 8, which I'm going to be watching tonight for the first time. See why everybody got so pissed off. I saw one small clip. That might be why. But I don't know, I'll see. So this is my Star Wars story, alright? I'll put these right here. My Star Wars story. I've been wearing this shirt right here. The Star Wars shirt. Was a gift for Christmas a few years ago. I never wore it. I was waiting for the right time to do it. So, alright, my Star Wars story begins when I was younger in the 90s. Alright. I watched the first 3 movies like a bunch of times like everyone else. And I fell in love with that franchise. I always loved sci-fi. That's like right up there on my alley. I mean, Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Far Escape, Andromeda, Earth Final Conflict. I can go on. And I saw them as they were supposed to be, okay, before George Lucas's changes. And I haven't seen any of the first 3 movies since before Phantom Menace came out, alright? This is where my story continues. So, in 1998, the year Phantom Menace came out, I believe, I begged my parents to take me to go see it, and they said no. Cannot thank them enough. Fast forward a couple months, and when it came out on VHS, I begged my dad to buy it, and he did. And the yard work I had to do to pay off that movie was way more satisfying than the actual movie itself. What kid cares about some Senate talk, whatever, midichlorians, all that nonsense? And that was the very last Star Wars movie I ever saw for 20 years, man. Except for Clone Wars. Not the one that's on now, the one that was on Cartoon Network from back in the day. I saw a little bit of that, but I still was not Star Wars. Like, I swore off it. I played a little bit of Knights of the Old Republic, and like a littlest bit. I just swore off Star Wars. Didn't watch Episode 2, didn't watch Episode 3, but I had a cousin who came to me and was like, "Bro, dog, they killed Mace Windu." I'm like, "What?" Because despite the fact that Samuel L. Jackson was grossly misused, I like Mace Windu. I mean, he had the purple lightsaber. He said, "Motherfuckers," in Star Wars. Yes. And I already got caught up. I said, "I'm not going to watch the movie for that." And he said, "Look it up. Just look it up." So we found it on the internet. And I'll admit that scene was pretty cool. It was actual acting in that scene. Like, almost like they knew they had Samuel L. Jackson and knew how to use him. I mean, the scene is still bad because Bitch Vader's been Bitch Vader, but still, it was a good scene. Anyway, yeah, so fast forward to, like, what was it, 2015, I want to say? Yeah, was it 2015? Yeah. I think when Star Wars Episode 7 came out, my most anticipated movie of that year was Independence Day Resurgence. I know. And I was still talking to Star Wars until I saw a trailer. I didn't see the trailer. My cousin did. Another cousin who, for the longest time, hid her nerddom, but she's since embraced it, finally, thanks to yours truly. And she came to me and she was like, I know you saw that trailer, Will. I know you saw it. Like, we got to go see it. Like, go see what? Star Wars. I'm like, what? And I go watch the trailer. And then, I didn't geek out like everybody else did when they sold Han Solo. It was like, Chewie, we're home. I didn't geek out, but I loved the trailer. And I was like, you know what? That was a pretty good trailer. And, yeah, we got to go see this. And so I went to the theater to see Star Wars Episode 7. Okay. Alright, and it was like, it slapped me in the face and said, this is why you like Star Wars, you idiot. I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool. And I've been back on Star Wars since then. Reluctantly, but I'm back on Star Wars. I saw, what was it, Rogue One in theaters, and I loved it, especially the ending. I wanted to see Episode 8, but I never got around to it. Episode 9's out this year. I'm on it. I didn't see Solo, because, like I said before, I don't like Han Solo all that much, so. Well, Darth Maul came back in there? Why? Does that make any sense? I mean, it's awesome, but why? But yeah, and so, for 20 years, I was off Star Wars. And all I watched was those Robot Chicken Star Wars specials and the Family Guy Star Wars specials. Like, that was it. And I have each one right here. And there's a movie missing. What? Right here. Okay. This was it. Okay. And it was more because it was Family Guy and less because it was Star Wars. What the hell? Oh. Oh, here it is. And yeah. And in between those coming out, the only Star Wars thing I even acknowledged, every time somebody asks, we like Star Wars, I'd say, I like Spaceballs. Okay? Like, that was it. Every time somebody talked about Star Wars, I talked about Spaceballs or Star Trek, because that's where I went when I swore off Star Wars. I went to where no man had gone before. Space. The final frontier. And I like both. It's cool. I like both. I know it's a hostile conversation, but I like both. But yeah. And, funny thing, you see it on the cover. The Chewbacca parody. There. It's John Candy, and this is the year of his 25th anniversary. So, you know that. But yeah. You see Rick Moranis. I want him to be in the new Ghostbusters movie. That's not likely to happen, but, But yeah, like, Spaceballs became my Star Wars. And that upset some people. That's okay. Yeah, I know this is like Star Wars parody number 10 billion. This is kind of like the Star Wars parody, I guess. Like, there are so many. It's like the most well-known one. That was my Star Wars for 20 years. This, the Robot Chicken stuff, and the Family Guy stuff. So, and here I am, because I've never celebrated Star Wars Day, like, ever, man. But here I am wearing a shirt, about to watch Episode 8. Alright, this is 8, right? No, it's not. No, yeah, it is. Is it? Yeah. Wait, did I hold that up earlier? When I said I watched Episode 7, this is Episode 7. I something like that. Here is Episode 7. I mixed those up. Well, yeah. So, yeah. And as far as the video games go, I haven't played much Star Wars video games since back in the day. The first Star Wars video game I played since Knights of the Old Republic was a friend got me to play Star Wars, or was it Battlefront 2 on the PS4? And now I have my own copy. I've come so far from hating Star Wars to loving it again. That is my Star Wars story. Rest in peace to John Singleton and Chewbacca.